The judge seemed especially appalled by the arrest of Abdikadir Noor, a Somali immigrant who has been an American citizen for 20 years. His arrest took place on December 15th in Minneapolis. Noor can be seen on video telling protesters not to throw things at ICE agents and telling them to keep it peaceful, even though ICE agents at the time were dragging a pregnant woman through the streets. So, yeah, ICE told the judge they arrested this guy, Noor, because he was screaming obscenities directly into an ICE officer's face and acting aggressively. But Noor, according to the judge, was merely trying to calm the crowd after ICE agents began dragging a pregnant woman through the streets. I have video. I have to warn you, it's not pleasant unless you're a Republican and you want to see a pregnant woman being dragged through the streets. This is from CBS News in Minnesota. You can see that is a pregnant woman being dragged by ICE agents. And Noor tried to explain to the ICE agents she's pregnant. And at the same time, he was telling protesters to remain calm. This is from CBS News in Minnesota.
The first images were chaos, pushing, shoving, and screaming. We made our way to the center of the crowd and found a woman being held face down on the ground. People were screaming to let her go.
We kept yelling, she's pregnant, she's pregnant, she's pregnant. They put their knees in her, and we kept telling them, she can't breathe, let her up, let her up.
In the chaos, the woman who was handcuffed was suddenly being dragged by one arm as the angry crowd threw snowballs and screamed at the federal agents.
Your tax dollars hard at work. So the judge said she reviewed videos and testimony from witnesses showing ICE agents had absolutely no probable cause to arrest Noor, who was standing around recording the protests, recording ICE agents dragging a pregnant woman through the streets. ICE agents, according to witnesses, targeted Noor because of his complexion, with one ICE agent reportedly wrestling him to the ground, shouting, quote, "Somalis drained Minnesota." When Noor was being detained by ICE, some of the agents said half of the Somali residents were in this country fraudulently, and another told him all Somalis should go home. Abdikadir Noor is a Somali immigrant who became a U.S. citizen 20 years ago. ICE agents, when they arrested him and detained him, told him to go back to Somalia. Now, where would ICE agents learn to talk this way to a Somali immigrant who has been a U.S. citizen for 20 years? Where does it come from? Donald Trump, on December 3rd, concluded his cabinet meeting by declaring Somalia a garbage country, saying he didn't want Somalians living here. He said their country, quote unquote, stinks. That's what Trump said. Quote, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country, said the man who's married to how many immigrants did he marry? As he made those comments, as Donald Trump concluded his cabinet meeting on December 3rd, calling Somalia a garbage country, calling people who come from Somalia garbage, and he didn't want them living in our country. As he made these comments, our Vice President, J.D. Vance, nodded his head in agreement and then pumped his fist. Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of Defense, shouted, "Well said." J.D. Vance in 2024 spread the lie that Haitian immigrants in Ohio were stealing pets and turning them into food. When he was presented with overwhelming evidence that this wasn't true, he continued to tell the lie. When the governor of Illinois asked him to stop because people's lives were being threatened, he continued to tell the lie and then finally admitted, when the evidence was incontrovertible, that he was lying. He said, "Yes, I'm lying." But he said, "If I have to lie to express the pain that white Americans in Ohio are feeling, then it's worth it." Pete Hegseth's airstrikes in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, codenamed Operation Southern Spear, have killed at least 123 people of color. He calls them narco-terrorists, but he offers zero proof and kills the survivors, so there is none. Protests in Minneapolis continue outside the Whipple building. That's an ICE staging area in the city. Donald Trump warned that should the protests continue, he will invoke the Insurrection Act. By the end of last week, Trump said he saw no need to invoke the Insurrection Act quite yet, but he said it's on the table. He said, I don't think there's any reason right now to use it, but if I need it, I'd use it. It's very powerful. But he's a liar. Early Monday morning, the Washington Post is reporting the Pentagon has told 1,500 soldiers to prepare for active duty deployment to Minnesota as Trump is planning to invoke the Insurrection Act. Don't pay attention to what he says. I'm not attacking Venezuela. I'm not invoking the Insurrection Act. Wait and see what he does. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, appearing on the Sunday talk shows, calling Trump's threat to order in troops unconstitutional and a violation of the protesters' First Amendment rights. He added, we will not counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos here. We're not going to give them an excuse to do the things that clearly they're trying to set up to do right now, which is these 1,500 troops. The Justice Department announced it has launched a criminal investigation into Mayor Fry, as well as the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, to determine if they have conspired to impede the work of ICE agents in Minneapolis. It is estimated nearly 3,000 federal agents right now are conducting raids throughout Minnesota, primarily Minneapolis-St. Paul. The governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, has put the state National Guard on standby if the situation merits it. President George Herbert Walker Bush was the last president to invoke the Insurrection Act when he responded to a request from the governor of California for help quelling Los Angeles rioting, sparked by a not guilty verdict in the trial of several white police officers accused of beating black motorist Rodney King. They beat him to within an inch of his life. So more than 30 years ago, there was video, incontrovertible evidence of police wailing on a black motorist. And a jury, a white jury in Simi Valley, California, where the Ronald Reagan Museum just happens to be, they saw that video and acquitted the white officers. And that sparked the rioting in Los Angeles in 1992. So when you watch the shooting of Renee Good by that ICE agent, and then you cannot believe how the right wing insists they don't see it as murder, remember the Rodney King video. Remember how many Americans are blinded. Remember how many Americans are blinded by their own misogyny and racism. Jacob Lang, a 30-year-old right-wing rabble-rouser who served 4 years in prison for his involvement with January 6, he was pardoned by Donald Trump. Jacob Lang claims he was stabbed by counter-protesters in Minneapolis over the weekend while he was holding a pro-ICE anti-immigration rally. Lang was planning to burn a Koran while blasting Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. He never got a chance to set fire to the Koran as counter-protesters forced him to end his event. See what they're trying to do here? You burn a Koran to enrage the community. This is a J6er trying to help Donald Trump find an excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act. Videos on social media show Lang getting hit by snowballs and water balloons. It was below freezing weather, and he and several of his cohorts decided to call off their event and go back to their hotel rooms. Lang is running for the Republican nomination to fill the Florida Senate seat vacated by Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is now our Secretary of State, so he had to give up his seat.